Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to present my project to you. It's about Cozmo being a companion for the elderly. My name is Andy Yu. I'm 12 years old and in 7th grade. I participated in WAICY since it started. And last year, the day of the competition happened to be the day that I moved from Pittsburgh to Boston. So in the morning, I participated in the competition, and in the afternoon, I rushed to the airport to board my flight to Boston. It's good to see you all virtually. So I would like to dedicate my project to my grandma who lives in China and I don't get to see very often, and to all of the elderly people in the world. We all know that AI can do many things, so you may ask, why choose this topic? The reason is that the elderly population is increasing to the point that in 2040, more than 1 in 5 people in the US will be joining the elderly community. As people age, they will face several health problems as shown on this slide. My mission is to use AI to help them manage these issues. Among all of the problems that elderly people face, I feel that one of the most important ones is mental health, which is often overlooked in the current health system. That's why I focus on these issues. In my project, John is the main character and he's an old man. Cozmo will help John with, emotionally through many ways. When Cozmo senses that John is sad, it will display empathy and comfort him. I also had Cozmo have a sense of humor because laughter is the best medicine. Cozmo's voice is not very natural, so I replaced it with my sister's voice. I want Cozmo to be the best companion that it can be. So it needs to be able to gather and use info constantly. For example, when it learned that John likes a certain song, it later used that song to comfort John when John was feeling sad. Like many elderly people, John has memory problems. To help him manage these problems, Cozmo only reminds when needed. This way, John is still using his own brain power and does not rely on AI for everything. Cozmo can also help for other health problems. It keeps track of John's medication, and when it senses an emergency, it will dial 911 and notify John's family. Like many elderly people, John has heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, and all 3 problems are related to nutrition. Cozmo helps John manage these problems by preparing tasty and balanced meals. Also related to these problems is fitness. Cozmo makes exercises fun and often does them alongside John. It's sort of like a personal trainer. The 5 big ideas are present in my project. The first big idea, perception, is present through Cozmo interacting with John using voice and face recognition. The second big idea, representation and reasoning, is present through Cozmo evaluating and responding to emergencies. The third big idea, learning, is present through Cozmo learning about John's favorite things and using those things to comfort John when John is sad. The fourth idea, natural interaction, is present through Cozmo having a positive psychological impact on John through his human-like behavior. The fifth idea, societal impact, is present through elderly people living better and happier lives. And another one is children might gift Cozmo to their parents, thinking that it will replace them and not visit their parents anymore. So I used Calypso to code Cozmo. I used a total of 7 pages of code. I can show you them during a Q&A. I would like to give a shout out to Amy, who's my sister, for voicing Cozmo, Professor Turetsky for his help with Calypso, and ReadyAI for giving me this opportunity. All right, so now let's talk about the demo. So John is the persona used in the demo. He's 73 years old. His wife died 2 years ago. He's depressed, as you can see in the picture. He has heart disease and signs of developing dementia. And now you can watch the demo. I'll put it in the chat.
Now I'm going to be John.
Good morning, John. It is 7 a.m. I have prepared your favorite breakfast, green eggs and ham. The meal is 227 calories. Oops. It is high in cholesterol, so I will be sure to make a healthier lunch and dinner for you today.
It's good.
Thank you. I've been learning.
Have I had my medication yet?
No, you haven't. I will get your medication. Here is your medication.
Thank you. Cosmo, let's play tic-tac-toe.
How about we do some exercises first? Then we can play your favorite game, tic-tac-toe.
All right.
Today, we will be lifting weights. I will be lifting my cube 3 times. You will be lifting weights 13 times. So easy. Are you ready?
Yes.
One, 2, 3. So heavy. You are doing great, John. Only 10 more to go. Oh, you look sad, John. Is there anything I can do for you?
It's Jane and I's 45th anniversary today. There was a song that we used to like. Top of the World by the Carpenters. Would you look at that? The light's gone out. I'll go fix it. Ouch.
John, are you okay? Judging from John's blood patterns, he has fallen unconscious. Connecting to 911 and calling his family.
Thank you, Cosmo, for bringing me to the hospital. You saved my life. I miss my wife.
I know, John. But let me play the song that both of you liked.
Thank you, Cosmo.
Hello, everyone. This is ReadyAI joining me. You here, Andy? Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing great, Andy. It's been a while. I think it's been over a year plus. Last time I saw you was back in Pittsburgh, summer of 2019. A lot has changed.
Yup. Yeah. I'm now in Boston, so I relocated.
Great. Well, I know you just had you were just in front of the judges. You presented your project probably less than an hour ago. So congratulations. How was it?
It was great. Yeah. It's definitely different than before because it's virtual, but it's really nice to be able to participate in this competition.
Andy, you're kind of a veteran WAICY participant. You were last year. Were you there? Were you there for 2018?
Yep.
Oh, then I'm sorry. You're the authority in WAICY. I should not say a word. You talk. Tell us about your journey from 2018 WAICY and also 2019 and this year. So how has it been for Andy?
Okay, so 2018, I was really getting acquainted with AI. It was like pretty much my first like thing with AI where I would actually be like coding and stuff. Before I would just have like maybe something in school where it's like code.org. It's the first time I actually made a project for something AI related. Also, like, it was really cool to work with 5 people on a competition. I only worked on like competitions that were in pairs or by myself before. In 2019, the day of the competition was actually the day that I moved. So in the morning I was like doing the competition, and then in the afternoon I was rushing to the airport. So that it's really a cool memory. Last year we had a smaller team. It was just 3 of us. So it was a different experience. And then this year I'm now just solo, one person. So it's again a different experience. I'm excited next year to work with a team again because like it's a bit harder to work as an individual instead of being able to like divide and conquer as a team.
Well, thanks so much. You're right. 2018, 2019, 2020. This year was very different. I was actually going to ask you. I said this time you went all solo, and obviously COVID had something to do with it. So tell us a little bit about your project. What was your project this year?
Okay, so my project was about Cosmo helping the elderly people like cope with, like deal with life. Like he had, like I focused on 2 main aspects. The first one was emotional. So like Cosmo would comfort the main character John when he was feeling sad and things like that. And then the other one was physical, so that was more of a like nutrition and fitness and things like that. So
And what inspired you? Why? Tell us what kind of prompted this project, and why did you decide to do this project? Where did it come from?
Okay, so my grandma recently had my grandma recently had like one of her teeth removed, and she lives in China, so I don't get to see her very often. And then I was just thinking about her, and I just kind of thought of taking care of older people, especially when their kids move out and they're by themselves. So I just thought of it.
Did you also tell your grandmother about this project?
Well, my mom did, because yesterday I was still preparing and things like that. I was rehearsing like crazy. Yesterday my mom called her and then told her about it, and then she was happy.
That's wonderful. I hope we will also have this video on Tencent so they can access it in China. So I hope she gets to watch. She gets to watch her grandson, and she'll be very proud of you. I'm sure she will be, as we are, and we have been since 2018. Andy, you participated. This is your third WAICY. What made you come back from 2018 to 2019 and even 2020? Although this is virtual and frankly, it's kind of challenging times.
Okay, so it's really nice to like think about AI and like, especially now, AI has really just started to take off, and it's really cool to be able to think about how it's going to change people's lives in the future, and also like we're part of history right now, the AI revolution, and then like it's really cool to be able to like make up your own scenarios and see how they play out and see how AI really works in the real world, because like I don't know of any other competitions that really do this.
No, I agree with you, but also I think what makes it very unique, not just this competition. Actually, I was earlier on. I was talking to some of the other students, judges, previous WAICY organizers. So and one of the overarching themes is really about the participants. What makes this entirely unique is the participants, students, you, and how you're trying to kind of impact the world around you. You get the case with your grandmother, but others, but also how COVID-19 has changed the way that you've been thinking about stuff. Speaking of COVID-19, speaking of the pandemic, how has that changed how you have approached AI, your project, you think your project? If it wasn't, we didn't have the COVID-19, how things would have been different for you, given the AI project, of course?
Yes. So one of the main things was I probably would have found like a classmate or a friend who also lives around Boston to help me. Since the pandemic is making us all go virtual, it would be kind of hard to like do it together, because having like Cozmo in two different places at the same time is a bit hard, and things like that. Also, it's been more of like kind of hard to say. Like it's more of like now it's more focusing on like presentation, as before I was focusing on like, oh, we gotta make it look good, like the coding has to be perfect and stuff like that. Now it's mainly about like the concept, because people won't be able to see like every small detail that you put into your project. So for me, I really wanted to focus on the interaction between AI and humans.
You bring up a really interesting point. You're right. How it has impacted you, not just on the AI applications, but the interactions that impacted they would have. And I think that was kind of the theme I also noticed with other participants this year. Andy, you and I have known each other for almost 3 years. You're growing up. I'm growing older, but that's a fact. So let's deal with it. Let me ask you this: what is your advice for other students your age, a little bit younger, a little bit older, when it comes down to AI education, as they're thinking about various things in the future?
So it's like, don't be too imposed by it. Like really dive deep into it, see what it's about. Like it's not that scary. They're not gonna like it's not like you immediately go to like coding, like I don't know, something really cool, like self-driving cars and stuff like that. Like take it slow, let yourself like ease into it, and like be open-minded about AI. Don't like, make sure that you're open to new ideas and possibilities.
That's very good advice. Also, I know you have very supporting parents, and I know they are somewhere in the background. I've met them. I remember you're right. 2019, it was the WAICY was the same day you were moving to Boston. I remember that, and you were leaving earlier, so you left earlier. I distinctly remember that. So, what is your advice to parents that are a little bit maybe intimidated about AI concepts, or like, wait a second, I don't know that, but and they view AI or computer science as just coding. What are your advice to the parents, because you have such wonderful parents have been very supportive of you? So what would be your advice to other parents that are watching this and thinking about they want their kids to be involved like you in AI? How can they work with their children on that?
Okay, so like when your child like starts doing a project, kind of just sit back, relax, like don't really interfere, because like kids are like brain, and then like they're different than adults, they think differently, and then kids really make like unique stuff, and then like also don't push them too far. Like if they really don't want to do it, like if they're like, oh my god, I won't do it if it's the last thing I do, like don't force them to do it. It should be something they want to do. And like this is just in general, get your child involved with like a lot of stuff, like have them learn about different aspects and like extracurricular activities. Like my dad is currently teaching me about like history and stuff like that, and then I'm involved in some math stuff. So like really let your children branch out in directions they like.
That's fantastic. Speaking of history, what are you learning about in history? You just piqued my interest.
Okay, so it's kind of, my dad kind of reads them to me like bedtime stories, kind of. So I'm currently learning about the ancient China, and I'm in the Han Dynasty, and like it's really cool to see how ancient kings and emperors manage an entire nation, and also how they screw up. But also how they like rely on people below them to help them, like how the entire government works and how like everything is connected, and really it's also like how you should act, because you can tell when like an emperor is being like
That's interesting. Yes, you're right, and I'm so glad you're reading history. I'm really glad your father is in a way incentivizing you, and also encouraging you to read history. That's really wonderful, and I'm so glad that you joined us for WAICY 2020 with all these difficulties, and I hope WAICY 2021 is going to be in person, so we get to see you. I don't know where we're going to have WAICY 2021. Might be here in the United States, might be elsewhere, but I really hope that we have you join WAICY 2021, as you already made a commitment, because you said for next year project you're going to work on so and so. So I look forward to having you in WAICY 2021, and I hope you get a chance to introduce AI to other students your age, and have them part of your team, so they can also learn about this AI application, but also more important, empowering community impact as well. Andy, is there anything else you would like to tell our audience? The floor is yours. I've known you. You've done a wonderful job. You were one of our winners in 2019. Is there anything you want to tell the audience, people that are watching this from all across the world? And by the way, you were from the Boston time zone, which is the same as mine. We had 13 different time zones participating in this year's WAICY. Wow. So it was a pretty crowded WAICY. Probably one of the most crowded WAICYs that we've ever had. It wasn't physically in person, so we couldn't actually see the crowd. But I was fortunate enough to be on the other end, so see all the Zoom chats, talk to the number of the students, and it was extremely powerful. So the floor is yours. If there's anything you'd like to tell the audience that are watching this live, or perhaps watching the replay of this.
So like, I would just want to say like, keep going. If you're watching this, you probably like AI, or you probably just maybe clicked on a thumbnail or something. So like, keep your mind open, keep coding, like don't let go of anything that you really like, or else you'll regret it in the future. Like keep yourself like learning new stuff. Don't let ideas stagnate. If you have an idea, go forth with it. if you and also like don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're only learning, and it's never too late to like learn something new. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and just keep trying.
You know, Andy, last year I said you have to be the MC this year. Obviously, this year we had the pandemic, but I think next year I want you to be running our YouTube live. You do such a wonderful job. You're such an inspiration, and you're full of energy, and you're a very humble young man. It's great knowing. It's been fantastic knowing you since 2018. I hope to see you soon, and I want to thank you once again for spending 15 minutes with us chatting. And I hope to see you in person. And please stay healthy. Please stay safe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you to make us proud again in WAICY 2021.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.